Get ready for the Squawking Eagles podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles podcast.
And of course, if you have anything else that comes up to mind when you're...
Oh, I've got things I want to talk about. I just got to remember to find all my information.
Also, I want to say that when the Eagles won against the Colts, Sirianni went to the stands and yelled, "This was for Frank. This is for Frank." Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, we'll talk about the black uniforms today too, because that's where they're wearing their blackout uniforms.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too.
Good. So we'll talk about that. We have quite a few things to talk about. So good. Let's go.
All in black to beat the pack.
Oh. Hello, and welcome back to the Squawking Eagles podcast. I am Mike, and I'm joined by Miguel and Mark. How's it going, guys?
I'm alive.
What up? Happy post-Thanksgiving.
Post-Thanksgiving?
Hopefully y'all not sitting with me like a mean big belly like me right now.
I would say we ate a few, drank a few. Feeling good. Mark, I think he has round 2 this weekend.
I do, yes. I already had one Thanksgiving, and I got another one today.
Nice.
So we are coming off a Thanksgiving episode that we did talk about a lot about the Eagles game against the Colts, but there is stuff that we have I felt like we might have left out, and then also past couple days had a few things that came up on Instagram that I want to talk about, and we will also preview Packers Eagles Sunday Night Football to round out week 12.
Yeah.
So the things that came out on Instagram this week I saw is that some Eagles players have reached out to a known tight end who has kind of retired, a Rob Gronkowski, looking to bring some tight end help to the Eagles because of Goddard and the lack, I guess, from Stoll and Calcaterra. What do you think? What do you think, Mark? Rob Gronkowski in an Eagles uniform.
7 years ago, pretty cool. Maybe, I don't know. He he is retired. Yeah, he's got. And I'm not going to deny the guy's got skill, but he's retired. He's kind of more of a fun, have a good time. And as much as I think he'd enjoy his time here, I just, there's some players I feel like maybe we got to stop talking about all the players in the past who could come back to help. Like, oh, we could have Darren Sproles, or we could get, someone will say, oh, we can still get T.O. He still looks like he's ready to play every year. He wants to play again. Like, no. Let them go. Let them go. Like, they're retired. Let them be. We got things moving forward. It's one of those things where, like, when Frank Reich got fired, oh, do you want to get Frank Reich? No, I don't want to rock the boat. We brought in the Ndadicum, so we brought in Linval Joseph, and like, okay, as long as they keep a level head, I'm excited. They played well, can keep that head. I'm interested to see what does Sue do this week. He's playing Green Bay. He doesn't like Green Bay. That's great, but are you going to play fair, or are you going to be the Sue we all know of old that everyone hated because you can't play without hurting people? I don't want that on the team.
Right.
Not that Gronk would be problematic, but just let the guy retire. We don't need any more of this outside stuff. There's a lot of silly outside news. Like, we're the Birds. We're 10-1 this week, and that's just how it's going to be.
I like that. That's a good point. He does bring like a circus atmosphere to a team. He is a big media draw. I think that's something the Eagles I would think would want to stay away from. What do you think, Miguel?
Yeah, I agree. I really don't think that he'll come out of retirement for the Eagles. I think there's only one person that really has that key to unlock that ability, and that's Tom down in Tampa.
Right.
In Tampa. So, as much as I would like that to be a piece that we can pick up, I don't think that it'll happen. But hey, who knows? Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, there is definitely crazier things have happened. There's a thing where, like, it's a Philly thing where they get these players, these aging players, not in football but in baseball as well, where the Phillies got Pedro Martinez on the back end of his career. They got Jim Thome, which he was pretty much end of his career when he came over. They seem to do that, and I think they should get away from that. They got to get the young talent guys in here, and that's what's more important.
Exactly. Don't waste any more salary cap on people that are not going to be here too long.
Yeah.
No need for it.
Yeah. Another thing I'm talking about this week is that the Eagles are playing the Packers. Well, let me rewind. On Thanksgiving, all 3 games were competitive. Would you say? Would you agree with that? All 3 games were pretty competitive after a while, maybe.
Yeah, they were a joy to watch.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised that the Lions really fought against the Bills as hard as they did. I think they're a better team than anyone really realizes. Well, except for you, Miguel. You were talking about how good they were.
I kind of called it in the beginning of the season, but I'm not here to brag.
Yeah, but and then that second game. How about the fact that the Giants scored their first Thanksgiving touchdown since like 1947 or something like that? 5 games on Thanksgiving. That was the first offensive touchdown. That's a pretty big fact right there. Yeah, and again, too bad the Giants had couldn't actually hold on and beat the Cowboys, but
the Giants show that they're mediocre. Like
right,
there's no need to be fearful of the Giants games that are coming up on our schedule. Like they clearly proved that yesterday. Yeah, they got some good plays out, but Daniel Jones is an inept quarterback at best.
Yeah, I agree. He's shown the fact that he's like they are the best worst team. Hopefully, we can get this Giants fan on and talk about what he believes in his Giants.
Battle for Odell. I guess Odell's going to Dallas now.
I guess so. If they showed a stat, he's only played 40 NFL games.
Who?
He's Odell Beckham. That's all he's played is 40 NFL games. 40? Yeah,
really?
40 NFL games. That's it. He's been hurt most of the time. He's really living off that one catch, that boat pose, and then that's it. That's all he's living off of.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I saw Michael Irvin going crazy on Stephen A. Smith show, talking about if they get Odell Beckham, they're gonna have another dynasty on their hands. I'm like, God. I'm so glad Stephen A. Smith brought him back to earth and was like, yo, Odell Beckham is known to be hurt. Like, even if you get him for this year, okay, you may win one championship if anything, but not more than that.
Not even.
Not even. Nah, I don't think he's the game changer everybody believes he is. He's this. I guess a figment of everyone's imagination. Really, like he's this great player. Which I don't think when he came onto the Rams, did he really change the game? Didn't he get hurt? Didn't he get hurt for the Rams
in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. So it's like he does.
The problem is though is that all he really did was he drew attention, which allowed
Cooper
Kupp to not have to face double and triple coverage every single time. But the problem is, like, what are you going to do? Like, look, I'm no Cowboys fan, obviously. But where are you going to put him when you already have CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup out there? And, like, they are good young receivers. You just have a bad quarterback. You haven't realized that yet. Like, everyone going on and on about how great Dak Prescott is. Bro, he's literally mid-range. If you swap out Dak for almost any other quarterback in the NFL, I mean, come on. With Cooper Rush, they won, 5 games?
5 games, yeah.
With Cooper Rush, who is a joke. Like, he's not good. They got all hype on him. He wasn't even, with the fact that, I know there was all the conversation, there's no quarterback controversy. He's garbage. But that's proof that you can do just fine with a team that's that stacked. If you actually take out Dak and put a good quarterback in there, there's no one beating you. That team's too good. The power ratio at Dallas should be winning a lot of games. They just have a really bad quarterback and a really bad coach. But yeah, keep talking about how great Dak is in the NFL world. He's so good.
Do you see the meme out there? I think you sent it to me, Miguel, or somebody sent it to me that on Dak Prescott's phone is a picture of Dak Prescott.
Saw that. Dak Prescott really, really likes himself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I thought that was hilarious. And then the third game between New England and Minnesota, which I thought New England, who struggled the week before against the New York Jets, came out and really kind of put it to Minnesota, who had just come off that huge debacle against the Cowboys. I wasn't impressed with the fact that Minnesota won. I was more impressed that the Patriots kind of really took it to them, and they just couldn't hold on long enough. And it was a call in the end there where it could have been a touchdown with Hunter Henry could have made a touchdown, could have been different.
Yeah,
But
I
again,
was shocked that Kirk Cousins played so good in the primetime game. He was actually kind of,
It was almost like maybe they had a really bad week last week, and that they're better than people think. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
Nah.
They're just trash. I will say though, before I
April
move too far
Fools.
on, I had something I wanted to say. Okay, and so I'm sure you guys probably saw over the past couple weeks, there's been a lot of hype for Dak after what was their 40-point domination of the Vikings, and I'm seeing a lot of things online like y'all underestimate Dak for MVP, yada yada yada, bullshit. Just want to throw a few numbers out there for my Cowboys fans out there. Okay, currently, and I get it, man's only played 6 games this season. Currently, he's got 124 completions. He's got I erased the yardage.
He threw 2 interceptions on Thursday. So
he's got 1,300 passing yards. He's got a grand total of 10 touchdowns and 6 picks.
Yeah.
So what I did is I took his most recent 3 games because it's kind of been his upward trend. I averaged them out because originally I did a whole average across the season, but that was unfair because his first game was so bad. So I was like, all right, I'll take his most recent 3.
Oh, so we only take out we only count good games. We don't talk about bad games.
For the Cowboys, because he's so good, I can only count his 3 really good games he's had recently. So I did the 3 recent games, did a little averaged out for him, averaging out of those 3 games, and then added forward so that he could have 10. Okay, a little side by side with some players, be up to date. He would currently be sitting at 194 completions, 2,460 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. For comparison, Jalen Hurts is currently sitting at 10 games with 198 completions for 2,407 yards, 76 yards. It's right there with him. Okay. He has 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, it's. I don't think there's a comparison here right now.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is a far better quarterback than.
And yet,
Dak.
I'm one of the few people who still as an Eagles fan, I'm not one out there going Hurts for MVP.
No,
I'm looking at those numbers going, I'm sorry, they're just not there. And guess what, Dak? Your adjusted numbers aren't there, and I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
I'm giving you good stats, and you're still not good. You're overrated, and you're hype on yourself. I mean, I don't know anyone who has their own background be themselves. Come on.
And then the fact that the Vikings did struggle against the Patriots. The Vikings' schedule for the next 4 games is the Jets, the Lions, the Colts, and the Giants. All teams that the Eagles, except for the Jets, will be playing. You can't tell me that that's not an easy schedule.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely is.
Remember, they'll talk about how good the Jets were.
Right, but everyone talks
Cowboys
about.
do love the past.
They do. And so I'm like, I don't want to hear about how easy the schedule is to the Eagles. That's got to be a topic that cannot be talked about anymore because, Vikings are end up going to be playing the same teams the Eagles have, except for maybe a few, and it's not going to be the same.
People are like, well, they had to play the Rams. Yeah, okay, because the Rams are a team.
Right, the Rams
They had to play the Buccaneers, who are also that whole division's a nightmare.
Right.
So who else is on your schedule there, guy? Oh, wait, nobody else is different on the schedule.
Yeah.
So you have 2 cupcakes.
Yep.
I don't see, and you lost to one of them.
Right. Yeah. This Eagles schedule I think is coming up. It's going to be a lot harder for them because look, they got the Packers. It's going to be a hard game. Titans are definitely going to be a hard game. And then they have the Giants, which, after watching Thursday, I don't think it's going to be that difficult because,
Only difficult if we make it difficult.
Right,
Yeah.
which we have seen that already this year, where they make it difficult for themselves. You know, they
Oh,
beat
yeah.
themselves, and then that's not great.
Commanders game. That second Commanders game.
Man, I'm still getting comments on that post I did. It's been like 12 days. People are still commenting on that and still watching it and liking it. It's like,
People are triggered.
yeah, it's very triggering. It's very triggering. So hopefully, we'll the command. This is a good. It's also a possibility that all four teams from the NFC East make the playoffs for the first time ever.
No way.
Yeah,
That's what
way.
I'm saying. It's a possibility.
It is a possibility, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
So
Suck.
we are moving on to Sunday night. Packers Cowboys. Eagles are wearing their alternate uniform. The I guess you call it the rush uniforms, or all black helmets for the first time ever. How do you
Black to beat the Pack.
what do you feel about that, Miguel? How do you feel about the black uniforms?
I love it. I can't wait to see it. I mean, you saw the pictures online and the studio photo that they put up, but I can't wait to see it on the field. I know Jalen Hurts came out yesterday during a press conference talking about how he wishes that they can just switch up the combinations of the uniforms with the helmets. Unfortunately, they can't use the black helmets with any other combinations except the all black uniforms. But I think they're going to push to change that for next season. But I can't wait to see them, man. They're gonna look dope. They're gonna look fly. I wish it was the black with the Kelly green color, but
Cool.
I take this. These uniforms are gonna be fly. I can't wait to see them, and I can't wait to see how we do on the field as well.
Yeah, the field is going to be an amazing thing. I was just watching on YouTube. I'm going to post it on our Instagram page. They did a 24. What it is like for 24 hours. In a preparation for an Eagles game, and it was the week where they played the Cowboys, and they go around with like this stamping machine and stamp the ground to make sure that every inch of that leveled ground is appropriate for like the poundage of the amount of people who are going to be on it, and I'm like, are you it blew my mind how much preparation that goes into just the field.
Yeah.
You know, they're going around and filling in all the holes that may or may not be, there for like the drainage and stuff like this. Like the fact that they're measuring the poundage on the field, it blew my mind. And I'm going to post it. And I suggest it's a really good watch. My wife will start watching with me. She's like, "This is really interesting. I don't turn this off." I was like, "All right, cool."
But it was think about like that little box where the O line and D line line up. That's over a ton, ton of human weight in that little area. So
yeah, and they cut the grass to like 11 inches and 3/8 or something like that. This weird number they cut it to. It was really cool. I'm gonna post it. You guys should watch it.
I mean, it sounds up there to what the conversation is right now in the NFL. There's a lot of talk about turf and getting rid of certain turf and stadiums that are need to change their grass. So the Eagles dealt with the vet for my whole childhood pretty much. We were the worst NFL team for the longest time. So I would think that Jeffrey Lurie takes having a good field very highly, coming from the lows that the Veteran Stadium was when he took over.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
It's good that they maintain that. To have one of the best fields in the NFL is probably quite an accomplishment. So,
and it's also a self-sustaining stadium,
right?
With their solar panels and wind turbines that they have. I think it's the only one too.
Yeah, it's dope. It's a great stadium.
Yeah. I mean, and
it could have like 30 to 40,000 more seats, and I'd be okay with it. But yeah. So we have the Packers and Eagles. Brian is actually going to be at the game this tonight or Sunday night. Hopefully he can send me some videos or some audio, but I don't know if he can. So Packers Eagles. First thoughts, Mark. First thoughts. All right. If we win this game, which we should, all you're going to hear about from our rivals is, well, you beat them at home. You didn't play them in Lambeau. that there's just always going to be an excuse. And if we lose, by chance we lose, you lost at home, you're a fraud, you're fake, get out of the league, you're not good. It's a catch-22 this week. Either way, I still think we should win. You know what? Aaron Rodgers has a broken thumb. He's got one good receiver who I benched this week by accident, but also on purpose. They don't have. I'm not. The good thing is I'm not concerned with their run game the way I have been in recent weeks with other teams. Don't get me wrong. They've had some really good running back. I don't know really what happened to their running backs because they started off the season pretty good with Dylan and what the hell's the other guy's name?
Aaron Jones.
Thank you. I knew it was a J, and I kept wanting to say a different J name, and it wasn't Jones. So thank you. Yeah, Jones and Dylan both been pretty solid, and then all of a sudden haven't been. I'm not quite sure what's happened with them, but I'm just not overly concerned. Rodgers doesn't really have the weapons. This shouldn't be an issue. We have. I think we've got the right team. It's can we come out and take care of business is more my concern. Are we going to come out and play the right kind of football? It should be a nice win. The Eagles should have a good time, enjoy the night, win the game, continue to be number one in the division, number one in the conference, number one in the NFL, and just keep winning. Well, unless of course you're any other analyst that's not in Philadelphia, then we're number 4 or 5 in the NFL because one loss is that bad.
Right.
Don't mind the multiple losses or near losses for some of the other teams that are apparently number 1, because Josh Allen is God's gift to earth and Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback to ever play. But besides them, this should be a good game. I'd like to see a little bit more emphasis on the run early with our running backs. Jalen Hurts, I love you. But scramble is good time when it needs to be. The last thing I want to do is see in the next week or 2 or 3 to see him get hurt because of a stupid quarterback draw play or something like that. Just run the ball. Just run the ball with your running backs. Win the game. It's just that's how you do it. And we only have maybe 2 more weeks until we get Jordan Davis back. So let's just do what we got to do.
Yeah. What do you think, Miguel?
Well, I think that this game poses another great running back team. If Aaron Jones, I'm not sure if he's healthy enough to be the workhorse of this game, but I feel like the Eagles need to make a statement right now. Like I said last week, I thought they were going to come out and completely annihilate the Colts, and they stuck around. They were in that game for the longest time, and it was one of the most dramatic games that we watched all season. So I think the Eagles need to come out, and if you want to be considered one of the top 5 teams, you need to put a top 5 performance on, and that's in all 3 phases of the game. We need our defense to step up, make sure that Aaron Rodgers isn't picking us apart with the dinks and dunks, which he likes to do with Aaron Cobb on that little in route or out route or quick slants. So even though the Packers are not what we are accustomed to seeing, there's still going to be a lot of things that this Eagles defense is going to need to do to beat Aaron Rodgers itself. You know what I mean? The running game it's going to be scary. We've seen a lot of teams this year just run wild. We saw what the Colts did in the first half of that game. We were able to stop Taylor from running, but we have to do that on a consistent basis. The next couple of running backs coming in, we got Aaron Jones coming in, and we got Derrick Henry next week. We got Chicago, I think, what's his name, Singletary.
Justin Fields too.
Yeah, Justin Fields. We got some good running backs coming in, and if the Eagles want to be considered one of the top 5 teams in the NFL, they're going to need to put on a big performance here. They're going to need to put up some big numbers. If you want to continue saying that the Eagles team is dominant, they got to put up some dominant numbers.
Yeah. So the Eagles having a close game with the Colts doesn't really give you a lot of optimism about how they're going to go against the Packers, because the Packers, granted, they don't have the greatest running backs, but they do have serviceable running backs, and they showed that in the beginning of the year, and they had a kind of a downturn for some reason, and they could surprise you. The Packers, have Aaron Rodgers. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. You can't really deny the fact that he is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he does still have a few more, a few more miles in the car, right? So he can really.
Let's not forget. Look, this is a Sunday Night Football game. Aaron Rodgers gets up for these primetime games.
Right.
So
right.
The whether we would like Kirk Cousins.
Exactly.
He's the anti-Kirk Cousins.
Despite that, the zero threat that we feel from his receivers, that dude can put the ball in some spots at those undermanned receivers, if you want to quote unquote them.
Right.
You're saying into Gardner Johnson's hands is what you're saying. He can get it.
The only person I know on that team is Cobb, right? Cobb's still on that
Randall
team.
Cobb. He's
Christian Watson.
Christian Watson, who's had a breakout couple of games.
He's the rookie, right? That's the rookie. Yeah.
He's finally making some concern for people. But you know what? I think he's got a really. I think I'm going to see some really good connection this week between Aaron Rodgers and Gardner Johnson. And I think it's there'll be something to watch out for there. That might be a touchdown.
You think so? Maybe. Pick 6 on this one.
Maybe.
Wow.
I'm looking. I feel like maybe I'm hoping Sunday night we're a little hungry. We're a little annoyed that we've had some rough weeks, like a loss, a close win, I would think if I'm an Eagle, I want to come out and I want to win, and I want to win big. I'm so tired of these, trickle losses. Which honestly, part of me still like this has to be coaching, right? Like we've seen that it's easy for our team to get the shit together and score.
Right.
Why are we winning by a field goal, by a touchdown? We have the team, we have the players, we have the people you need in the right spots to literally win every game by a good margin.
Right.
So can we just come on, guys? Just like bring it home, take the coaching out of the game, take the refs out of the game, and just win it. And I think you got someone with like Johnson with that attitude. He's got 6 picks on the year. You know what? A Hall of Fame pick 6 sounds pretty good to me. Right. If I'm him, I'm sitting there going, all right, I want one to the house. Like I want one, but I want one to the house.
Yeah. Darius said that he's only missing Aaron Rodgers from his list of picking off receivers, quarterbacks. I mean,
that's surprising because he played him twice a year
in Detroit, right?
In Detroit, he would play him twice a year. That's surprising he hasn't any reception. Well, because maybe he never really had. He just stayed away from him because his other corner probably was very weak. But look, Bradbury is not weak.
No.
So. He's going to have to pick between who's going to try to pick on, Slay or Bradbury. There might be a few this game.
The good thing is this season, you're starting to see that Rodgers is trying to force it because his players have been kind of garbage.
Yeah.
So, since Watson's his hot hand, he might be trying to force on Watson. And if Slay wants one, line up. You got your chance. Or just cover him. And like I said, I don't know why. Something in my head is saying Johnson's just, sitting there hey, guys, I know you're, the top corners. Everyone cares about you guys. But, I want my bread. I got disrespected down in New Orleans. I got people were not sure about me coming here. People are still kind of I want
24 years old. He's hopefully the Eagles can keep him because
I still don't understand that.
They traded him a 5th and a 6th round pick for him. That was robbery.
I don't get it. I don't know what's happening in New Orleans right now that they're throwing stuff away.
Yeah, they also need to keep losing, and they won last week, and that was not.
You know what? If they want to keep throwing stuff away, I don't mind if Chris Olave wants to go to a better team. If he wants to come here, I'm sure Devonta Smith, Watkins, and Brown can find space for Olave. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
we'll give you a 6th round pick for him too.
Yeah, easy. Maybe how about 2 6th round picks?
You know what? I'll be nice. I'll give you a 4th in 2 years.
Yeah, they'll take it.
They might.
And they'll say thank you for giving us that.
Yeah, they will.
Right?
Thank you. May I have another?
May I have another, please? So this game is, I wouldn't say it's a trap game, but it's got to be a statement game. We have to run the ball. We have to stop and control Aaron Rodgers and just, what? Go ahead, Mark.
We have to run the ball in the first half.
Yes.
In the first half, we need to run the ball. We cannot be running the ball for 5 yards in the first half. They go, all right, Oh, we ran for 100 yards. Yeah, 95 it was the second half when we're down points. It's not how you win games.
Right.
Yeah. We definitely got to go back to the things that were made us successful in the beginning of the season and not the stuff that's making us competitive. You know what I mean? So
it's unreal how simple, and I mean it, how simple the recipe for success is in football at all levels.
Right.
And yet everyone tries to get away from it because they think they're better than it, and you're not.
Right.
You're just not. I mean, it's rare. The only times you're seeing it happen, you win games if you move away from the success recipe when the team you're facing does the same stupid thing. And that's what's happening.
Right.
You know, a lot of teams you're seeing guys who are just like, oh, you know, we're just going to throw the ball. And the rare chances that it's winning, okay, are the Chiefs, who are going up against teams who are desperate and are throwing the ball a lot, and the Dolphins because they have the most unreal talent and wideout in the NFL right now. Waddle and Hill together probably shouldn't be allowed on a team. You saw what Hill did in Kansas City with no one else except a tight end for the ball to go to. And now you're like, oh, we have 2-star wide receivers. Crazy what that's going to do to teams. Like, okay. But yeah, no, for the most part, if you look at any team, run the ball.
Run the ball.
Throw short, quick passes with the occasional deep ball when it's given to you because teams have to move. Like, defenses have to move. You can't just always have someone out there. Doesn't matter if your running back's a mediocre, sub-average, or a great running back. If you run the ball a lot, they're going to have to make adjustments because, you know, if a guy squirts free and you've only got like a small safety back there to make the stop, you might not make the stop.
Right.
So when you make that adjustment, all of a sudden you got one-on-one with your best receiver. Like,
yeah. And when you run the ball, you are controlling the game and keeping the other team off the field, which has been happening to the Eagles. Teams have been running the ball and keeping them off the field, and that's what they need to do. Run the ball, keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. Because when they get a bigger lead and Rodgers is on the field, they're not going to be running the ball, they're going to be passing. Yeah. And so when you pass, and you know if they know you're going to pass, it's easy pickings.
I say that's also one of the reasons why our defense has been successful in the earlier parts of the season with like interceptions and such. When other teams are playing from behind, they need to throw the ball more. When they throw the ball more, your secondary's sitting there salivating because they're like, all right, sweet, I have so many more opportunities to take this away. And when they take it away, not only do they feel good, but you're giving your time again. Your offense now has the ball again, controlling it again, and winning games. Like it's a simple recipe. Stick to it.
Yeah. And that was a recipe that they followed for the beginning of the season, and they kind of they strayed from it. And so what they just need to do is dominate this game, and it'll shut up all the haters, hopefully.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean,
we could win out every game this season. Go to the Super Bowl and win it handily. People will still say it was a fluke season. People had a bad year. It was weird.
It was a down year.
It doesn't really count. Yeah. No matter what. And then you well, we still have this many rings, and we still have this many rings. And all right, well, go watch your VHS tapes while we celebrate another victory.
I wonder what team he's talking about.
Yeah, right. VHS tapes.
I have no idea.
Team? I have no idea. But yeah, no. You guys are right. Like, we were putting up a lot of points in the beginning of the season, and a lot of defenses came out, and they were like, "What do you do to stop this offense?" You keep them off the field, just like they did to Chip Kelly's team back a couple years ago. You know what I mean? Those quick plays. Those quick plays.
Talking bad about his guy.
It's not though. That's exactly how you do it. That's what Stanford's
right.
I mean, if you look, I've said it before. You look back at his record in college. I think most of those losses are Stanford. And if you look at what Stanford did for years, I don't know why Stanford has stopped doing it because Stanford was the epitome of it. Look at Christian McCaffrey came from that whole world that Stanford ran was, I'm going to run the ball and you have 40 seconds between plays and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to snap it at 2 or 1 every single play. Yes. And so in a single drive, even if they go 3 and out, they have taken complete minutes out of the game that Oregon would normally try to score in like 2 minutes. And suddenly it's like, well, yeah, you scored in 2, but they just took 18 off the clock. They went entirely through the quarter, and they're into the next quarter in one drive. You can't score anymore. It's now tied. What do you do?
Yeah.
It wins games.
Yeah, it's discipline too. That's a lot of discipline for an offense to be able to do that.
And but it keeps them rested. Like I know, like Kelsey was saying the other day, like they scored and there's a long drive. He's tired. I'm not even celebrating. I'm getting off the field. Yeah, it's a long drive. But if you're sitting there draining the clock between each play, you kind of get a little bit of rest between each play. It's less draining on those players too. They're kind of And I mean, it's a lot more for them, like, particularly when most linemen will agree they'd much rather run block. Off the ball, hit someone, get out of the way. If they got to stop, put back, you're on your back feet trying to push someone off and pass blocking it's really draining. Mm-hmm. So if you're just run the ball, all right, sit for a minute, run the linemen are saying, okay, this is an easy day. We're in practice. Like,
yeah. That's another thing. I mean, and I hate to keep bringing up his name, but that was another thing that in the Chip Kelly offense is what a lot of the linemen were complaining about. You drop back the pass, and they want to go up and then hit somebody in the mouth and make those defensive linemen tired. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have those plays in there where the offensive line gets their hits in too, not sitting back there, dropping back in pass coverage and, getting beat constantly, So
thinking about O-linemen, did you guys see what came out yesterday?
What's that?
The first single of the Eagles O-line Christmas album.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I was listening to it. Yes, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty good voices on those boys.
Yeah. The vinyl came out. You can purchase the vinyl online, but the actual you won't be able to listen to the whole thing until like December 23rd or something like that.
Yeah, which I don't know why. I want to listen to it now for the whole season.
Exactly.
Like, what are you guys doing? Hey, Jason Kelsey.
They want to make $85 on the vinyl. That's why they're selling the vinyls for $75 for a single vinyl or $85 for a bundle.
Bro, you guys are NFL players. You don't need the money for that. Just
okay.
Right. Release the music. Have fun.
And who the hell owns a record player?
I don't. I was like, well, do you have a record player, Mark?
I have two.
Wow. I was like, I'll buy it, but then I don't have one.
I saw them at Urban Outfitters. I was going to pick one up.
Yeah, I've got two.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something. Maybe that Santa Claus will have to bring that for me for Christmas this year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man. Some of the behind the scenes on that, they were pretty funny doing that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I was playing it, and my wife was. I was playing it. I didn't say who it was, and I was playing it, and I was like, "Do you like this? It sounds good, right?" She's like, "Yeah, it sounds really good." I was like, "Who is it?" She goes, "Who is it?" I was like, "The Eagles' offensive line." She's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, it is." Yeah, it's funny.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking at the rest of the schedule, not for the Eagles, for the NFL this week.
Yeah,
there's some interesting games. The Broncos and the Panthers. You got bottom feeders.
Sam Darnold's getting the start this week.
I say because what's his name got hurt for the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
So do the Broncos run enough Russell Wilson commercials in Charlotte to win the game? Is there enough like cringe happening on their TVs that people are like, I don't want to play against this guy,
right?
Because he might ask me if I've had a foot long and if it's dangerous. And
I saw a stat: if the Broncos scored 18 points in all of their games, they'd be 9-1.
That's disgusting.
Isn't that wild? They would be 9 if they only had scored 18 points. That's all they had to score.
Defense is so good this year.
Yeah, they've been so good. They've been so good. Also,
Broncos, let's ride.
I noticed you'd be very happy this week, Mike.
Uh-oh.
If you and I were facing off in fantasy, you wouldn't have to worry about Mixon.
I know.
It's painful for me, but yeah, it's a nice little last minute. Hey, he's not playing. I'm like,
he's not playing.
This
Great.
is wonderful because now I can't switch his spot on my league, which I had him at running back, not at flex. And so I can't push like Singletary into the running back and have a receiver fill in for him. No, I got to have Algier fill in for him, which like he may or may not have a good week. I don't know. The Falcons run the ball a lot. The Commanders, we'll see if the Commanders are, still.
I need my wins this week. I'm trying to make a push to that last playoff spot.
I saw the trade you were making this weekend.
Yeah.
Not with me. Every time I offered, everyone said no to.
I'm glad I didn't take that Mixon trade because then he'd be sitting on my bench injured. And then I would really hate Joe Mixon. I would really hated him if that happened.
It would have been a good time for you taking that trade. It would have been a good time.
I wouldn't be able to talk. I would be so angry. I would have
bringing it up.
I would have deleted the league. I'm like, you know what? Delete. Delete the league.
F all of y'all.
Yes, I'm like, you know what? Take this, Joe Mixon. Delete the league. By the way, I'm banning Joe Mixon from the league next year. Nobody can draft him. He's just going to sit in free agency the whole year.
You know what? I feel like some people felt that way about JT at the start of this year.
You know I did.
I still can't believe people cut him from their team.
Well, I'm okay with it. I made it out pretty good for trading him.
Well, another one for you guys. The Texans-Dolphins. The over-under is 47 points. Is it weird that I feel like maybe I would take the over this week?
Wow.
I mean, I feel like the Texans' defense has been abysmal. The Dolphins' defense has been great. I feel like Dameon Pierce might grab one or two off of them. And I think, Waddle and Hill both see the end zone multiple times. Like, that could be a crazy game.
Did I miss something? When do the Browns play the Texans?
This week.
This week, right?
Next week.
Is it next week?
Yeah. So currently, Deshaun Watson is allowed back in facilities and practicing.
Right.
So he will be their quarterback next week against the Texans, Sunday, December 4th.
Okay, Sunday, December 4th.
And they're not allowed to have any women in the stadium. For their own safety, not out of any bias. It's just
right for their own safety.
There's a bubble around. You know what it is actually. They're allowed in the stadium. They're gonna have a bubble around the field, and particularly on just the brown side. And it's like you can't leave the bubble, Watson. You got to stay here.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's next week. That'll be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think everybody's going to be watching that game to see how that plays out. That's going to play.
Yeah.
You're going to start the massager?
I'm going to start the massager.
Wow.
Just to see how it goes. I'll take the pain.
That's our last week. I think next week is our last week for our fantasy league, and then our playoffs start after that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get to play the 0-11 team the final week, so I could get a dub there and make a little squeeze right into the playoffs.
I'm gonna reach out to him and help him build his team just so you don't get a free. You definitely.
I get a free win, and I think if with that free win I could get into the playoffs with that. That'd be nice. That'd be real nice.
Maybe you're not gonna win this week.
I don't know. We'll see. I can't determine if I want to put Jalen in or Herbert because Herbert is playing Arizona. Arizona's trash. Like, their defense is not great. True. But then again, Jalen Hurts is going to be on the big prime time stage. You might want to really come out here and just throw some 5 or 6 touchdown passes. And
he'll be starting my team this week.
I'll be nice, and I'll let you know that Mike Williams is out again.
Oh, he is out again. Okay.
I haven't seen anything on Keenan Allen because I don't know if anyone plays him anymore because it's just, how do you rely on a guy who's only played 2 games all season?
I know. It's terrible because
he is on someone's team. That's crazy.
Herbert is such a good player in that he's just really has had nobody. He's throwing to DeAndre Carter, who used to be Eagles punt return guy.
Bro, I saw someone earlier post about how bad the scouting report was on Allen and Herbert and how they're unreliable and how we really the teams really buffed it up that last year. And someone put out, and I wanted to throw out there, it was like, Herbert is 5th right now in the NFL in passing. He has not had a top 3, not first string, second string, or third string receiver in weeks.
Yeah.
His players are special teams players on other teams if they're lucky.
Yeah.
And the man is 5th in passing. I'm sorry. If you don't see that he is literally a star quarterback. I see all the rank they have him at average, subpar, good. No. You're missing that he's elite, and you can you're blind. That's fine. Yeah. You look at everyone else is on that list. Every one of them has either a star or multiple star receivers.
Yeah.
It's unreal. I mean, You're talking about who else? Pat Mahomes. He's now granted he's a little light on receivers this year, but his overall he's got good receivers who are there, and he's got Kelsey. Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs. He's got
Davis.
Davis.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. Yes, right now.
Jamar Chase is hurt.
Yeah,
Jamar
Jamar Chase is
Chase.
hurt, but he has Jamar Chase. Tom Brady has more star power than he's ever had.
Right.
And then right there is Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
With no stars.
I say, name me 2 receivers on that team. That
Well,
are
I
actually
can,
playing.
I can. Joshua Palmer and DeAndre Carter.
I
But,
said receivers, not special teams players. So please go ahead and try again. Because neither one of those start in the NFL on any other team at all. Not even Green Bay, who seems to not know their receivers. They don't start. They're not starting on these other NFL teams. They're not wide receivers. They're not starting wide receivers. They're just not.
yeah.
Right.
At the best, you got DeAndre Carter, who's going to be a 4th or 5th string receiver on most teams, and he's your current starter.
Right. He was on the practice squad, and they elevated him just to do punts for the Eagles a couple years ago. So,
Yep, that's
and
their number one weapon.
Yeah. It's tough.
And yeah, I understand you can say, oh, he's got Austin Eckler. Yeah, he's got a good running back. Yep, that's going
Yeah.
to help his passing stats.
Right.
Yeah, that team is a hot mess. I was seeing some rumors on who Sean Payton was going to go coach next season. I heard
Yeah. Who are they?
I heard the Cardinals are up there and
wow.
Chargers. So
Wow, that's surprising. You can't. You really like, and also those 2 teams are struggling with injuries. To be honest, all of them. You know, and so it's not the fact that that's the coach's problem. It's the fact that these guys are just getting injured. You know, and then Watson was out because he was suspended. Not Watson. Hopkins, he was out because he was suspended.
yeah,
You know
it's
what
like
else? Another team I've seen that's not been doing well that he might do well with. There's this weird team down in the South called New Orleans Saints. I don't know if he's familiar with them. They have seemed to have missed a step since he's been gone.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if he's allowed back in the facility
They're
there.
not allowed back. He shouldn't be allowed back in the NFL, in my opinion. But
Do you see the movie they made about him?
no.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and it's stars Kevin James as Sean Payton. Yeah, yeah. Kevin James is star, and it's about when he was, he was suspended, and he went and he coached his son's flag football team or something like that. It was a good watch. It was a good movie. My family liked it.
Did you tell the flag football players that if he hurts them, they also get bonuses, or
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
that
yeah.
just to one
They get ice
guy?
cream instead of bonuses. They get like stacks of ice cream.
You break that kid's leg, you get a banana split. You want just a regular ice cream.
So, Packers Eagles. Should we make our predictions here? Are we ready for that? That might be a tough call here because if you watch the simulation was a high scoring game where the Packers came out on top.
Why is it ever a high scoring game?
I don't know why. I don't know. It's just it wasn't high scoring against the Colts. It was like a 21-17 game. But it was pretty accurate.
Overtime.
They won in overtime. Yeah, it went in overtime and they won.
Like 13-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that the Sims have been not accurate, but I feel like they've been kind of close as far as the scoring goes.
Yeah. It's interesting how they do
what
it.
they think the scoring is going to be.
Right.
So
you want to go first, Miguel? You want to go first with your prediction of Packers Eagles?
Packers Eagles. Aaron Rodgers is 5-1 with 15 passes, 3 interceptions in career against the Eagles.
That one loss came from who did it come from?
It came from
Jalen Hurts.
Was it Jalen? Oh yeah,
Jalen
last
Hurts,
season, right?
Jalen Hurts got his first NFL victory against the Packers.
Last season. True. I feel you. With that being said, I might have to go with the Eagles winning 24-17. It's going to be a close one.
Wow.
Wow, that's Mark's reaction. Wow.
Only because I was going to say the same number.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a wow. Yes.
That's why it's a wow. But I
Wow.
made a change in my mind just before he said it. Eagles win. I'm going to say 21-17. No offense to Elliott. You're not getting a field goal this week. Brown needs a touchdown.
He does.
Brown needs a touchdown this week.
He's battling a stomach flu, so we'll see if he even plays tomorrow.
They said
gonna
he's going
play.
to. Yeah.
He's going to play. He's going to get a touchdown. 21-17 Eagles. Aaron Rodgers is going to complain about something at the end of the game that has nothing to do with the game.
No. Aaron Rodgers complaining? No.
While tripping on mushrooms or whatever the fuck.
As long as he's not doing the hip pump, we're good.
The Dak Prescott hip pump.
No, the other one, the one that he was doing with the ref standing next to him when he scored a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
the Key and Peele skit.
You gotta do that discount double check.
The discount double check. That's right.
Yeah, he needs those glory days back.
You know what? He stopped doing those commercials and hasn't quite been the same.
Right? No.
Maybe he's got to do some more discount double check.
Those ayahuasca mushrooms fucked up everything. His fucking commercials, his career, his
relationships.
Danica Patrick or whatever her name was.
Yeah, Danica Patrick. Yeah.
Danica Patrick. Yeah. So those ayahuasca mushrooms have really hurt his life.
That is funny.
Like,
I don't see him having a big game because the Eagles' defense, I think, is going to come out. It's going to show up. They're going to keep Aaron Rodgers to a minimum of maybe one touchdown pass, maybe. And I could see like a 28-10 Eagles victory. 28-10 because I see that A.J. Brown needs a touchdown. He hasn't had one in like a week or two. And Jalen Hurts needs to come out and throw the ball when necessary, because we got to lean on the run and we got to get some touchdowns from that running game.
Quick question for you guys. During the Colts game, did you guys think that Hurts was getting happy feet, getting scared out of the pocket when he didn't need to be scared?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. There's
a little bit of hero ball.
Do you think that was the key factor? He was just trying to be a hero. I feel like I don't know what he was seeing, that he was panicking that the old line wasn't blocking for him, but I just felt like he was just he was not comfortable in the pocket last week, and I think this week hopefully he saw that on tape and makes those adjustments. But
so he said he was told to play like him, and that's how he plays. If you go back and watch his college days, he doesn't play in the pocket. He only became a pocket quarterback in the NFL. And so he's going back to what he knows, which is to be outside so that he can run. It's not in itself, I guess it's not technically hero ball, but it's putting himself in a position to play hero ball because he can't do it from the pocket. He doesn't feel as nimble and free in the pocket. It's one thing I will say, and I'm sure this will get taken, not the right way by a lot of people. That's one thing Carson Wentz had that he doesn't, is that escapability. Wentz, we saw the plays. I mean, that play is still the play against the Washington those years ago was insane. The announcers, you lose sight of Wentz in a pile. He just comes out the other side. Hurts is not going to come out of that. Hurts is going to go down, come back the next play. So Hurts' idea is, I don't want to be anywhere near the chance of this pile. Let me get out here so I can see everything. And if I don't see it, I run it. And the problem with that is like what happened it might have been against the Colts, it was the week before, where he came out and he like started to run, but he waited to throw. And like, I'm used to seeing a quarterback do that, but it was like I think it was the Commanders game, because it was towards the end. It was like one of those where like, you have to make the play. And once you commit to the run, they're going to move up on you. And if you stop to make the pass, you don't make that pass, you no longer have that room to run, which is he ended up not making it because there was no one to throw to and he no longer had the room, where if he had just run it, he would have made it.
Right.
And it's one of those, he's second guessing himself. I'm hoping our run game hits the ground, a little better, a little earlier, get some more time under our belt. Cornerbacks and safeties do their job. Linebackers, D-line do their job. I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. I think Johnson's looking for a pick this week. I think the more Hurts feels comfortable with the ball, with the score, we won't see him outside as much.
Right.
And kind of continue to do our winning thing.
Right. But, we're gonna see what we're gonna see with the Packers on the field, like the caliber of players that the Packers have. Because look, they put all their money in Aaron Rodgers, and they had to rely on their GM to select players that will complement him. And we're seeing it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. You see that big money in quarterbacks takes away from your team, and I think we're seeing that with the Chiefs, and I think we're seeing it with the Packers.
The Cardinals.
Yeah, definitely the Cardinals. Yes, and so I think this week we're going to see that the Eagles are definitely a better caliber team than the Packers. We're going to see that, if you compare, like I put out on Instagram, you compare the wide receivers to the Packers: Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, even Quez Watkins. They're number one receivers on the Packers. Even Quez Watkins is a number one receiver on that team.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
with our running game struggling lately, there was a couple running backs that were released this week by a couple NFL teams. Do you guys think the Eagles should reach out to one of these running backs that were released to kind of bolster or help support our running game?
Well, if you think
Nobody
about
out there interested?
No.
the Rams released Darnell Williams, and I think they got picked up by the Jaguars. So I'm surprised you weren't on top of that yet.
Well, that's what I was asking. I was like, man, the Eagles should have picked him up.
Yeah, they missed out on that.
Yeah.
We
Cam
already
Akers
don't run the ball enough. We have we already split the ball between like three backs and a quarterback. Like we already don't really have room in this backfield.
No, I agree, but I would say for like down the line, like, Miles Sanders is not one to be known to be healthy the entire season. You know what I mean? And so far he's been lucky to be healthy this late in the season. But hey, we got some hard teams coming up that they're going to play our running game pretty hard. And, I would just like to have a security blanket if Miles Sanders does go down, because I don't have any faith. Like Boston Scott, okay. Gainwell, he's been a little shaky with me this season. I was kind of a big fan of him last year.
I know you were, yeah.
This year he hasn't been what I expected, but I would just say just to have somebody back there ready to go in case Miles does go down. But I guess I'm hoping for the worst and the best, but
yeah, that's I have the same thing because almost every run that Miles Sanders has been doing, like if he the hole closes up and he kind of runs right into it, I'm gonna feel like, oh, he's gonna come out with something hurt. Like I just don't feel like he's the most healthy running back, and I don't think he's going to be on this team next year. That's why they're not really relying on him, because they know he's not going to be on this team next year.
But see, then if you're not really relying on him, I would be running him into the ground until
I know. But it's like you run him in the ground and he comes out and he wants this big contract, and everybody's going to say, how come the Eagles aren't going to sign him? Well, because we ran him into the ground. That's why.
Too. And the fact that Saquon's about to set the market with what he's doing this season.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
I'll put it to you this way, though. Miles Sanders is averaging better than most of the other running backs in the NFL still. I'm looking at his stats right now. Like, there are people that are doing better. There's no question about that. There are players who are actually... Surprisingly, Justin Fields is averaging to be like the best running back in the NFL right now, but that's a different story.
And he's hurt now. He just hurt his shoulder.
But like Derrick Henry right now, 230 attempts, 1,000 yards rushing. If you were to average out Miles Sanders to 1,000 or to 230 attempts, man, to be 1,050 yards rushing, so he'd actually be ahead of Henry. Like he's running well. We just don't run with him.
Yeah, they just got to run the ball this week.
There's no reason he hasn't hit 1,000 yards rushing this season, and yet we're kind of hamstringing him. We're kind of keeping him down. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. The beginning of the year. The first half of the year, he was running the ball. He had a really higher pace of yardage coming, and it really has just dropped off the cliff here.
Now that you mention it, maybe I do get it. Maybe
what?
Our team is aware of his injury issues.
That's what I was just thinking.
You know what? We want to win. We want him in the playoffs when everyone else is hurt. So we're going to run him less now while we can win with other players, and then come back with him at the end when it really matters. Have all the stars win the games. Maybe
it could be. That could be a strategy, but that's a strategy to think that you're going to beat these other teams. Which
right. Well, like that. That's what I said last week. When Howie Roseman was trying to see what this team looked like without Miles Sanders being back there. Yeah. So that's a good analogy there.
That, and if you look at the rest of our schedule, right? We have let's see here.
The Titans are a good defense too. They're not like this, pushover defense. They're run by Vrabel. Vrabel is a huge defensive person, so he's
the Titans are what, like a top. I don't want to say
top of their division.
Yeah, but the defense is good. I mean, they lost their linebacker earlier in the season, which hurt them. Like, everybody thought that the defense wasn't going to be as good, but everybody has stepped up on that defensive side, and they have a good defense. I'm not sure where they rank right now, but I know it's up there.
Yeah.
So here's something for you, though. All right, so we're currently 9-1. We all agree we beat the Packers, right?
Yeah,
Right.
10-1. Yeah.
10-1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we lose to the Titans, 10-2.
Still the best record. Still the best
Giants.
record. Win.
All right. The Bears,
Win.
the Cowboys, 50-50.
Let's just let's say it's a loss. Just to say it's a loss.
Let's throw it out as a loss. So we're what, 12-3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints,
Win.
Win.
okay, and the Giants again.
Win.
Could be a win with backups.
So at this point, you're looking at the schedule. If you're a coach and you're realizing, okay,
4-3.
this is a guaranteed playoff run,
Yeah.
right? Like, you don't go 13-3 and not make the playoffs. That's just not happening.
Right now.
If you're saving some players here or there, you don't really have to worry about it as much because you're all right. Well, he's going to play in January.
Yeah.
Keep a couple carries, keep him fresh. Don't risk him getting injured. I don't like it. I get,
Right.
but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, at this point in the season, I kind of see it.
Right.
You know, if
don't
you're
tire
gonna come in-
don't tire him out. Don't tire
Yeah,
him
it's
out.
like right now, that's the thing that happens with Tennessee every year. Like, Derrick Henry is getting more and more carries every week. He's hitting his I'm going to keep running train. Well, you come January, he's going to be a little tired. You know, if right now we're going, okay, here's a few carry Sanders, here's a few carry Sanders, like here's some extra, just keeping his legs fresh but not exhausted. Get into the playoffs, you've got a running back who maybe he's not, fresh, but fresher than a lot of other players, and there's a really good chance we have a bye week then anyway.
Yeah, it is a possibility. It is a thought to think about that they could just be saving him.
Yeah,
Could be.
Could be, as long as they, I guess, as long as they can save him and win at the same time, I'm okay with it. But if
Right.
you're saving him and losing, no, not okay.
yeah. If we save him and lose this week or any of the upcoming weeks, the only one that I can see on our schedule that I'm like I will not freak out about is if we lose by a point to like the Titans.
Yeah.
Everyone else, I don't even like that because they're at our place. If we were in Tennessee and we lose by, I wouldn't feel good about it, but I get it. They're doing well, but I don't want to lose any other games this season. I don't want to lose the Cowboys. I don't want to lose the Packers. Like, I want to see dubs all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I think that'll do it for us. I think we are all on the same page here. Eagles win by a close amount, but still a win nonetheless. I'm excited to see these black uniforms and what it looks like when it comes across on the television because the pictures is one thing, but seeing it live is a totally different. And I'm excited to see what the crowd's going to be like. Hopefully it's like a blackout game. If they could bring in all of the black, that'd be great.
That'd be nice.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting. All in black to beat the pack. Let's go.
I like it. That'll do it for us. That'll do it for us. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Go Birds. EAGLES. Eagles.
Eagles.